Addressing the region Southeast Asia, and I would like to invite the speakers and the moderator of this session. And the speakers of this session are Venerable Dr. Yon Seng Yeath from Cambodia, who is Director Phra Singhanok Raja Buddhist University in Cambodia. May I now request all of you to please put your hands together to welcome the panel, the moderator and the speakers of this session. And now I will request Dr. Ruth Gamble to start the proceedings of this session.
And Dr. Yon Seng Yeath is a Cambodian monk. He has earned a postdoctoral degree in philosophy from Harvard Divinity School, focusing on the Nobel Path. He began his research in 2016, supported by a university scholarship. He is committed to advancing Buddhist studies in Cambodia, and he serves as Vice Rector at Phra Sok Raja Buddhist University. His research emphasizes mental healing methods used by Phra Maha Gosananda during the Khmer Rouge regime. And today he's going to be talking about Buddha Charika and the dissemination of the Buddha Dhamma. Thank you.
The most venerable Mahasangha, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share a few things from the context of Southeast Asian, the perspective on the Buddha Charika and the dissemination of the Buddha Dhamma. Yesterday, I attended the session, and there was a presentation done by Venerable Arya Wangso from Thailand, where he talk about how the Buddha spread the Dhammas, how he practiced his own routine. So what I have written is already taught by the Venerable monk from Thailand. So I decided to share with you my personal observation on how Buddhism has been practiced and how it had been brought to the Southeast Asia. I think most of you know that Buddhism had been brought to Southeast Asia by the missionaries and by the Ashoka. So I don't want to talk about that anymore because everybody knows about it. So I just would like to talk from my own perspective how Buddhism is practiced right now, my personal observation. And Venerable monks, please bear with me that I'm gonna talk from a very negative perspective on how Buddhism is practiced. This is the first day that the Buddha told the monks that Jarata Bhikkhave Charikam. Is the first statement that the Buddha requests the first 60 Arahants to go out for the benefit and the happiness of many, out of compassion for the world, for the welfare, advantage, happiness of Deva and human. May not two of you go into the same direction. Let each of you go alone in particular direction. Teach the Dhamma, which is beautiful in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. So this is the core practice, or it is a sort of the first statement that given by the Buddha. So the missionary carry a very big message, or I can say a big burden. We don't work only for the happiness of the human beings, but the Buddha told us to work for the happiness of the Deva, of the God too. It's not that simple responsibility, sir. It's a big responsibility. So, I don't know whether we in the 21st century is ready to work for the happiness of the God, of the Deva or not, I'm not sure. So this is the first day. that the Buddha told the 61 Arahant. And then I would like to just touch very briefly on the history of the Buddhism in Southeast Asia. Used to be known as Suvarnabhumi. So within these 10 countries, currently known as the Southeast Asian country, everybody tried to say we are the part of the Suvarnabhumi. But recently, like in January 2018, there was a discovery of the inscription, the Khmer inscription written here within the red bracket. There is a term called Suvarnabhumi. So the whole inscription saying that the Khmer king, known as Suryavarman I, ruled over the region of Suvarnabhumi. So we also just came to know, and we just got the archaeological proof a few years ago. And you can Google it. I don't dwell deeply on that. And this is the day 900,000 day after the Buddha Parinibbana. This is the day 1. And this is today, 900,000 day after the Buddha said something to the 61s. The world has changed a lot. Here, the Buddha statue sits in front of the TV, which is a reflection. The question is, are we able to work for the happiness of the human beings and the Deva today? In today's world, I'm talking about the today's world. Okay, let's go together and see how. The question is how. Why I'm talking to you, so my students and some of my friends are watching me from Cambodia live. So this is today's world, not 2,000 years ago world. Today's world is very fast, very modern. And I would like to start from a very negative side. As missionaries, right now we do have a misconception among the Buddhist world, especially from the non-Buddhist. They find it very difficult to understand what is Buddhism, because we do have many kinds of Buddhism. We say there are 3, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. And this is, in the reality, the non-Buddhists always had a doubt. What kind of Buddhism? When I was in US, the common question imposed on me is, what kind of Buddhism are you practice? So this is a misconception which had been widely in the public. So as missionaries, as a Buddhist monk, Venerable Sir, please try to study each other. Theravada, Vajrayana, and Mahayana. During the Buddha's time, one Buddha, one Buddhism. Nowadays, one Buddha, many Buddhism. And we Buddhists do not know each other well. We know, but not deeply. To be honest, I really don't understand deeply what the Vajrayana practice. I don't understand. I read, but I don't go deeply as mine. So we Buddhists do not each other. My suggestion is, it's better to understand each other well, learn from each other in order to expel this sort of conception. This is all monks recently in China. And one of my senior monks who extremely rare get out of the country and he joined this conference, he asked me, are all these monks? I say, yes. And he say, they are different from us. I say, yes, they are different from us, but they are monks. He say, oh, Buddha, what's going on? This is happening on the ground. So please try to know each other better. And here, today, today's world is secularism, materialism, skepticism, distractions. So in today's world, people like to be free. They're free. So some people like to be free from religion attached to that. They don't want to have the religious identity too. They say it's free. So I think we should try to understand today's world in order to bring Buddhism to the society. We cannot just ring the bell and ask people to come and sit and breathe in and breathe out. No. For the old generation, maybe yes, but for the young generation, no. That's why I'm follow the Venerable Rinpoche, always talk very practical to the young generation. That is what is needed this day. Thank you very much for your effort, Venerable Sir. And one thing is, I feel that we Buddhist monks find it very difficult to adapt into the culture and the language. I'm talking about the context of Southeast Asia. Singapore, comparing to other countries in Southeast Asia, is less religious country, but the only country which they have more Buddhist missionaries. And most, I might be wrong, but I experienced it, many monks who went to Singapore doesn't speak English. Even regardless Chinese, they don't speak English. And I don't know how can they propagate Buddha in the country where they don't understand the language. So, and our Buddhist monks find it very difficult to adapt to the local culture. That's why I appreciate the Catholic Church. They have the principle of inculturation. You have to inculture, you have to follow what the local culture do. So this is a big obstacle. And in Southeast Asia, we see a lot of things. That if I cross from one country to another, I find it's very difficult to understand the local cultures too. Here, lack of resource and support. For the Buddhist missionary, I think we do not have whatever we may call the funding for missionary. We don't have that kind. It's very individually, it's based on individually. Any monks who are committed, who try very hard to propagate Buddhism, it has to go by himself. There is no big organization that can do it, that can support it. So we are lacking of resource and support. Here, in order to bring the Buddha's teaching, one of the suggestion is, I think that we Buddhists should engage socially. Venerable Sir, this picture took in 1994, and the monk who sit there, his name was Mahakosananda. He gave a Dhammatisna in the battlefield between the Khmer rule and the government. And this was the Dhammatisna, the preaching lasted only around 10 minutes in the midst of the fierce battleground. I think it might be the second Dhammatisna given by human beings in the battlefield after the Buddha. And I was very lucky to present at that moment. And this is the place, the Dhammatisna, where the soldiers lay down their weapons and listen to the Dhamma. So to be a Buddhist, I think we Buddhist monks should engage. We cannot sit in the temple while there are so many things, a lot of troubles happening around our temple. We must get out of our temple and get into the temple of the human sufferings. and that human suffering is our real temple. Okay. In that picture, there was a march called Dhamma Yatra. This morning, Venerable from Japanese, Namnyo Ohorengjo, he also helped us to walk for peace during the Civil War. So before I end my speech, I just would like to say a few words that as a Buddhist monk, I think we should socially engaged. So we should teach the people to live on earth, not to get ready to live in the heaven. Thank you.
Thank you. As someone who teaches university students, I really appreciated that, and I can see them really responding to what you were saying.